What's up, guys? This is your Week 5 recap of the Gentlemen's Club. Coming off a week where we had some middling scores, some middling matchups, had a couple close ones. Let's go ahead and kick this off. We'll start with myself and Omar. I joined the 200 club, 223 to Omar's 153.9. Big Ben, James White, James Conner, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Devontae Adams, all with 20 plus, some of them with 30 plus. Yes, Mason Crosby cannot kick a field goal or an extra point to save his life. Gets off the schneid and gets me into the zeros, but bad matchup for Omar when I put up a 223 spot. Omar, again, 153, not bad. Drew Brees, 30 points. David Johnson, 21 points. I just don't think David Johnson's ever going to reach his ceiling that we thought he would because, again, the Arizona Cardinals coaching staff, let's just give it to him and have him run right in between the tackles. Let's not give him the ball in space at all. We're not going to do that because we're the Arizona Cardinals. But fun little story. Omar and I had a little side bet. Little 20 spot for who would score more points this week, Michael Thomas or Devontae Adams. I think you guys know how that finished up. So, Omar, good game. Tough when you face someone who gets in 200. So, on to the next one. Probably the closest matchup, Malardsky versus Din. Din comes out 154.8 to 150.2. Interesting strategy by Din. He drafts Russell Wilson, benches him for Ryan Tannehill. I think Din probably the first one this year not using a QB in the super flex, at least out of necessity. He could have easily put two QBs in there. Almost came to bite him in the butt. Tannehill puts up 8.1. Wilson put up 22.9. Din still gets the win, though. So Isaiah Crowell, freaking 200 plus rushing yards, 35.1 points. Hopefully you win when you have a player that scores 35 points, or else you're wasting that. And then we can talk about Adam Thielen all day long. I think he set a record for most 100 or 5 games in a row to start the season with 100 yards reception or more. Pretty studly. Calvin Ridley and Corey Davis came back to earth, so that's good for everyone else. So Din, decent win. Malardsky, super close. The tight end spot was a difference maker. Ricky Seals-Jones putting up a goose egg. Kenny Stills, pretty much taking Omar's sloppy seconds. 3.7 for Kenny Stills. Those two spots right there, if you make a change, maybe you drop Cameron Brate and pick another tight end. Maybe you win. But it's a game of maybes and could have, would have, should have. So Malardsky takes the L, but super close matchup. And Dak could not get it done that night for him. I mean, pretty much took a double whammy when, if Dak takes him down and scores, Jim's going to win. But his Cowboys lose and his fantasy football team loses. Next up, we have Cage versus Reggie. Reggie, 168.7 to Cage's 131.8. Register TJ Yeldon pick up 26.2 points. Everyone's sort of bagging on Reggie for spending that dollar, but you know what? I just heard that the Jaguars are working out Jamal Charles after one of their other running backs got injured, so who knows how long Fournette is going to be out. Looking at you, Kevin. Looking at you. But Saquon Barkley, 30 points. CJ Beathard, 22.7 points. Tom Brady, 30.5 points. So Reggie looking pretty solid there. Again, almost hits the 170 mark. Easily does it against Cage. Cage just, you know what? It seems like you go the way your wide receivers go. Amari Cooper, 2 points. Will Fuller, 3.5 points. Amari Cooper's, I want you guys his stat line. So, game 1, 2.8 points. Game 2, 23.6 points. Game 3, 3.7 points. Game 4, 28.8 points. Game 5, 2 points. So it seems like with Amari Cooper, you should just start him every other week. But yeah, Cage could not get it done. Didn't have too much left on the bench. So Reggie, decent win. The thing I'll say, Reggie, is I just don't see you on the text thread. I don't see you talking some smack. I mean, I know you have a life, but man, I want to see that Reggie talking some smack when he gets a W. But maybe we'll see that this week. So because I saw Lumen light up on the text thread recently. So there's a couple of you guys out there that I'm like, I don't know if you're in the league anymore because you're not even talking some smack. So Reggie, that's a call out toward you, dude. Next matchup, Mikey T versus Loomski. Lumen puts up pretty easy victory, 170.9 to 143.5. Lumen, he has Todd Gurley. He has Ezekiel Elliott. And he's got Kirk Cousins. The thing about Kirk Cousins is the Vikings cannot run the ball. I mean, Dalvin Cook's injured. Latavius Murray doesn't do anything. So, Lumen hooking it up. And then probably the pickup and start of the week, Christian Kirk, a little 20 spot. When Kirk scored his touchdown, I think for like 50 or whatever yards, Lumen says, I had a feeling. Sometimes you got to go with your gut, and sometimes your gut is right. Good thing is Jared Cook came back down to earth, 6 points. But I think the most startling number is Eric Ebron, 33.5 points. This guy was my tight end last year for a while, and gosh, he was terrible. And I watch him on Thursday night. He's making all these circus catches and one-handed grabs and catches in tight coverage. Where was that last year, Mr. Ebron? Anyways, Lumen, kudos to you, 170.9. Mikey T just waiting for Le'Veon Bell. Just hoping and praying Le'Veon Bell's coming back that week 8 all refreshed, because another loss for Mikey T. Puts up a decent fight. McCaffrey, 20.3 points. Demaryius Thomas finally shows that he's alive, 23.5 points. But everything else is sort of just middling. The Jordan Reed trade, first game with Jordan Reed on the team, 3.1 points. Not going to cut it. So we'll see what happens there. Woods may be one of the only healthy wide receivers in the Rams with Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks getting injured with concussions, so maybe he's got some advantage there. But Lumen goes to 4-1. Next matchup, Wyckoff versus Pop Secret Kevin Moore. Wyckoff hooks it up with a W, 176.5 to Kevin's measly 116.8. Let's start with Wykeezy. So Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes, decent. But then he just got some people scoring 20-plus points. Kenyon Drake finally doing something. Gosh, the Miami Dolphins are terrible. Even when he scores 24.5 points, Kenyon Drake probably only gets like 10 to 12 touches. They are, for some reason, giving Frank Gore, who's like 80 years old, the ball more than Kenyon Drake, it seems like. Mark Ingram, that trade sort of worked out for Wyckoff the first week at least. Hopkins hooking it up on some Sunday Night Football. Galladay looking like a stud. Wyckoff looking pretty good there. When you look at Kevin's team, Dion Lewis, Ty Montgomery, Latavius Murray, 5.8 points, 4.8 points, 7.6 points for his running backs. Like I said before, not going to cut it. Rams D, usually hooking you up in the double digits, Kev. Got a little one spot for you this week. So highest scoring player was A.J. Green at 19.2 points. So Kevin does not hit the under 100 club, but he is definitely getting one of the bumbos. Someone else is getting one too, but I don't have one like Din does, or I did, but I think we gave ours away. But Kevin, 116.8 points. Cam Newton, Andy Dalton, not doing it for you. You are one of the members of the Bumbo Club. Hopefully you can turn around next week. So, and let's look at the last matchup. Ellsbury, 163.9 to Hofstadter's 119.7. Let's break this down. All right. Ellsbury hooking it up. Eli, Deshaun Watson, Joe Mixon, all 20-plus points. And then just some solid contributors throughout. Mohamed Sanu, I don't know if that was a wire pickup this week. If it was, awesome little start. Because guess what? Julio Jones does not know how to score a touchdown. That's Hoff's team too, so it's sort of like a big advantage when you get Sanu scoring touchdowns and Julio Jones doesn't, because every wide receiver, every pass catcher for the Falcons can catch a touchdown, but not Julio Jones. So Jordy Nelson somehow doing decent for you, 14.3 points. So Ellsbury hooking it up. But I think the same thing that I'll tell you with Reg. Ellsbury, I know you're new to the club, but you're kind of not new to the club because you were in the first league the very first time we started. I want to see you talking some smack. I want to see when you crush Hofstetter by about 40, 50 points. I want to see some smack talk on that thread. Calling Hoff out. Talking shit about Alvin Kamara doing nothing. Something. Show me you're alive. Speaking of Hofstetter and Alvin Kamara, the other member of the Bumbo Club this week barely ekes out a little more than Kevin, but it was so close that let's just give out 2 Bumbos like Din did last week. 119.7 for Hoff. Kamara, 6.9 points. Brandon Cooks gets concussed, 0 points. Adrian Peterson gets his shoulder dislocated and is 50 years old and still playing in the NFL, 6.2 points. So 11.2 for Julio Jones, his wide receiver 1. And then, you know what? Chris Carson, 15.7 points. Okay, I'll give it to you there, but everything else looking pretty garbage like Hofstetter. So, but no worries for you, Hoff, because you're probably like the best team in the league. Like, we know you're going to bounce back pretty easily and pretty handily. So I'm not too concerned, Hoff, and I know you're probably not either, because I think I should probably just go in the manager settings and lock up the week 1 bye for you. So just keep doing what you do, Hoff. We know you're probably the best, like, game theory player in our league. So let's see what happens. You're good, okay? So, didn't text it out what the bonus was, most total touchdowns. I take that bonus. Next week's bonus starting this week. We need your picks in by Thursday night before the kickoff. We are doing gentlemen clubs, pick'ems. So you pick all 6 matchups. You tell me who's going to win. The tiebreaker is the matchup of the week. I'm looking right now. The matchup of the week is between Millardsky and Mikey T. It looks like it has the highest over total. So you tell me the combined score. So if you think, Mikey T is going to put up 150 and you think Millard is going to put up 151, 301. I can do math. So again, pick'ems for this week. Send them out. It has to be done by Thursday before kickoff. And let's look at some standings and wrap this up. Myself, 5-0. Lumen standing alone at second place, 4-1. And then we got Mike Din, 3-2. Wyckoff, 3-2. And then a whole slew of people, 2-3. In this order: Hoff, Omar, Mikey T, Millardsky. We got a little Ellsbury. Then we got Registered. Then we got Kevin, all at 2-3. And lastly, in last place, again, Cage at 1-4. But our league is so close when it comes to middle and bottom of the pack that if anyone loses and Cage wins, puts up a decent spot, that Dirty Sanchez is anyone's to grab. Speaking of which, Jim, are we going to see some pictures? Where are we at? All right. Good luck in week 6. Peace.